Next on NBC Palm Springs midday, a series of earthquakes hit the Coachella Valley, all centered at the southern end of the Salton Sea. More progress on the Apple fire, now 42% contained, and through it all, a big save by firefighters. Jerry.
Yeah, totally clear skies today and tomorrow before clouds move into Southern California. Temps will be above average this afternoon, but moving well above average by the end of the week. All the numbers on the way in just minutes.
Is NBC Palm Springs.
Good morning, Coachella Valley, and thank you for joining us for NBC Palm Springs Midday. I'm Joe Smith. I'm glad you're here. We're going to turn things over to Jerry, who's got, I think, a decent forecast, but he says it's going to heat up. Right, Jerry?
Yeah, the numbers will go up by the end of the week. Mostly clear skies in our Agua Caliente casino cam. We have plenty of sunshine today. Things will change by midweek. We'll get a little cloud cover in here. The temperatures move up by the end of the week above 115. And the humidity will be tweaked up a little bit too. Yeah, you combine the hot weather with humidity, of course, a little more uncomfortable. But today, not bad. Matter of fact, today will be just like yesterday and Saturday. Temperatures slightly above average for Palm Springs, 111 under totally clear skies. Forecast details in minutes.
All right, Jerry, thank you. Now to our top stories. A series of moderate earthquakes hit this morning between 6:33 and 9:13 a.m. in the southern Salton Sea area. The strongest quake, magnitude 4.6, hit at 8:56. 4.0 struck at 9:03. The area saw 7 other earthquakes in the 3.0 range. There are no reports of any damage or injuries. The Apple fire is now 45% contained. Firefighters are gaining some control over the fire as it's now 32,905 acres. Now here's a look outside. The smoke seems to have cleared. All evacuation warnings in Riverside County and some in San Bernardino County are lifted. Morongo Valley remains under an evacuation warning. Full containment is expected in a week. Now, over the weekend, crews saved the largest oak tree in the world. Crews cleaned up the area as helicopters fought hot spots just 300 feet away. Now, the tree is 100 feet high, has a 120-foot spread, and the trunk is 43 feet around. Now, as you would expect, it was a big success for the crews on the ground.
Coronavirus coverage brought to you by East Valley COVID-19 testing site, serving residents of eastern Coachella Valley.
The United States has passed 5 million coronavirus cases. It took just 16 days to go from 4 million to 5 million cases. There are over 162,000 deaths in America. California has the most cases with over 550,000. New York has the most deaths with over 32,000. We've seen many restrictions tighten again with the rising coronavirus numbers. Here in the Valley, many businesses are closed closed. One of those, Westfield Mall, is partially closed, but some shopping can be done outside. Our Nico Payne visited to see what that shopping experience is like.
Local vendors set up shop just out front of the mall with white tents and misters, and organizers tell me this event is a way to help small businesses who are struggling. Flat Black Art Walk organizers have worked with Westfield Mall and held events indoors in years past, but this year they had to adapt because of the pandemic, and some quick thinking resulted in the event being held outside.
They're all small businesses, so they haven't ventured out entirely just yet. They're just beginning, so we're offering that first step to being able to venture out and be known in the community.
All vendors are welcome, but because of social distancing guidelines, space is limited, which may put you on a waiting list.
We saw it on Instagram, the art walk, because we've been to it before. So we decided to contact them, and then we decided to show up.
Sixthel started this small business with her sisters and says they hope to bring a little bit of happiness to people through their designs.
How they react when they see our things, it's nice because it kind of makes them forget a little bit or not focus too much on what's going on.
The art walk will run for the entire month of August during the weekends, and vendors will be rotated. Organizers say they hope to extend this event even further.
This will go on actually for the month of September, October, November. As long as we are given the green light, we'll just continue it out through actually the end of the year.
We have a lot of big competition with big known jewelry makers, so it's harder for us to really get out there. Definitely being out here brings in more people that don't even know about this kind of business.
To be a part of the Flat Black Art Walk, all you have to do is reach out to them on Facebook or Instagram, and of course you can find all the information on our website, NBCPalmSprings.com. Reporting in studio, I'm Nico Payne.
Now here's a look at the COVID-19 numbers for Riverside County and the Valley. These numbers are from Friday. Over 40,000 cases in the county, over 10,000 of those from the Valley. 799 deaths in the county, 243 from the Valley. Now keep in mind the state is having issues reporting cases, so these numbers do not accurately reflect the current situation in the county or the Valley at this point. Recent data shows more children are getting infected with COVID-19. This according to the American Academy of Pediatrics. More than 97,000 children tested positive between July 16th and July 30th. The experts say that is a 40% increase in the number of pediatric cases since the pandemic began. As of July 30th, kids made up nearly 9% of all cases, which is almost 339,000 cases. This new data comes as another wave of children head back to the classroom to start the school year with in-person learning. But how long they will stay is in question, as COVID fears are still hanging in the air. NBC's Sam Brock reports from Florida.
As a portion of Florida's 2.8 million public school students return to class this morning, they'll find a revamped setup for 2020. Spaced out tables and signs encouraging masks. Measures leaders hope ease some parental concerns.
I'm really happy with the way that they've handled it. I think that they were as prompt as they could be, given the circumstances.
Jessica Hansen is sending 3 kids back to school today in Baker County, Florida. She's especially encouraged by the school district's staggered lunches and smaller groups.
I really don't think that there's a substitute for what teachers do and the heart that they pour into kids. There's no replacing that.
So how safe will it be? Baker County Superintendent tells NBC News masks are optional for students and staff, but recommended when closer than 6 feet. Around 330 students are choosing remote learning, and teachers will be returning to their traditional classrooms. In nearby Jacksonville, one educator so unnerved about in-person instruction, she wrote a mock obituary, saying she returned to work, did her best to handle all the roles placed on her shoulders: educator, COVID security guard, human shield, but ultimately succumbed to the ignorance of those in power. While school districts around the country implement new safety steps, in Saraland, Alabama, all kids 6 and up must wear masks.
It's a lot more precautions. It's just kind of a new normal until we get a vaccine for this virus.
Other areas battling the fallout from infections already. This Georgia high school in the spotlight after images of packed hallways emerged last week, now closing up after a breakout of 9 cases and switching to remote learning, at least for Monday and Tuesday. The superintendent writing, the school will be thoroughly cleaned and disinfected. One bright spot.
If anybody can open schools, we can open schools.
New York State getting the green light from Governor Cuomo with a remarkable 1% infection rate, making it possible.
In Florida right now, the statewide infection rate is somewhere in the neighborhood of 9 to 10%. Of the roughly 3 million public school students here, a small portion of them are actually returning to the classroom today, as it's primarily small counties like this one. In Baker County, about 30 minutes outside of Jacksonville, Sam Brock, NBC News.
And Notre Dame is welcoming students back 2 weeks earlier than originally planned. Like most schools, there will be a different campus environment. Among the changes, daily temperature checks, mandatory face masks, and a maximum of 2 people on elevators. The student welcome back kit will include masks, a thermometer, and hand sanitizer. Now let's take a live look outside right now. This is our Agua Caliente Casino cam in Palm Springs. Time to check in with Jerry again for that warm forecast, but warming up even more forecast.
Yeah, nice outside right now, 97 degrees. Nothing unusual about that number for early to mid-August. Winds are calm at the moment, 16% relative humidity. That'll drop to around 10% by the middle of the afternoon, so somewhat of a dry day today. Doing our temp check, 77 right now at Big Bear, 95 Yucca Valley, 29 Palms, clear skies 98. Triple digits from Desert Hot Springs, Thousand Palms to Indio, 99 at Mecca, 103 at Rancho Mirage. And 97 degrees at Cathedral City. Clear skies, plenty of sunshine over much of Southern California. Patchy fog earlier today. That is lifted in the Inland Empire, but radar quiet too. Monsoonal moisture staying well to the east of us. So today, high pressure in the upper levels, although weak, will keep us several degrees above average. So at or slightly above 110 for the Coachella Valley today. We'll see dew points that'll be in the mid-30s by the middle of the afternoon. And getting around that 110 mark for Palm Springs by about 4 o'clock this afternoon. So on a Comfort Air 3-day forecast, same forecast for tomorrow that we'll see today. But then things change a little bit. We'll get some moisture in the mid and upper levels. That'll produce some clouds, especially around the mountains. Could maybe squeeze out a few sprinkles in the higher elevations. Nothing for us. But temperatures begin to move up. Not so bad on Wednesday with 112, but hotter weather the days that follow. Full forecast in 7-day coming up this half hour. Keep it here.
All right, Jerry, thanks. We have an update now on a string of shootings in Palm Springs. Police arrested 5 people Saturday for various felony and misdemeanor violations. One was a juvenile arrested for his involvement in the recent Palm Springs shootings. He had a loaded firearm believed to have been used in some of the shootings. The remaining arrests included outstanding felony warrants for weapons and drug possession. A shooting in Coachella over the weekend causes a traffic accident, leaving 2 people dead and another injured. Riverside County Sheriff's Department says the driver of an SUV was reportedly shot during a car-to-car shooting. As a result, the car crashed into 2 pedestrians walking on the sidewalk. The driver was pronounced dead at the scene. One of the pedestrians died in the hospital, while the second was left with minor injuries. An update now on Friday's deputy-involved shooting in Rancho Mirage. A sheriff's deputy is in stable condition after being assaulted and stabbed. Friday, the deputy responded to a call of a suspicious person near Tamarisk Lane and was assaulted and stabbed after making contact. That's when the deputy shot the suspect, who was later pronounced dead at the scene. No identities have been released. 2 of 6 reported people missing in the Idlewild area are found alive and well. The man by the name of Kremer, who went missing from Anza last week, was found safe. Now, Vanessa Velasquez was also found. They are just 2 of 6 people who mysteriously disappeared over the last few months. They are unrelated, but they all disappeared from the same area near Idlewild. No details have been released on either of those returns. Up next, there are new deadlines to get your census information in. Why the deadline? And what this means in order to get an accurate count. That's up next. The Census Bureau is shortening its counting operation. Households now must complete the survey by September 30th. The census determines how many representatives each state gets in Congress and how billions of federal funding is spent. Here this morning with the details is Beatrice Venezuela from Equality, California. It's good to see you. First question, why the change?
The administration, the Trump-Pence administration, has decided to shorten that. They are citing COVID concerns. But unfortunately, what that does is that shortens the time that we can actually get people counted. So historically, as you know, there are groups of people, Black people, Latinx people, LGBTQ people, marginalized people who are historically undercounted. So now they're even more at risk right now with this shortened time. And there are people at the Census Bureau who are really worried about that. They are very worried about a deep undercount.
And so is there a way to push forward and really make sure that everybody is counted? There's a lot on the line here.
We have really been pushing people take the steps to fill out their census, whether it's online, whether it's on the phone, or whether it's the old-fashioned way, filling out the paper form and mailing it back. This is the first time that the census can be filled out online, and you can do that by going to my2020census.gov, and it takes less than 10 minutes. So we are really doing this push, asking folks to please go to that website and to fill out the census.
So if they haven't filled the census out online, people will come knocking on your door.
August 11th is when people are going to start to see these, what they call door knockers. They're going to be going to all the homes that have not yet responded to the census. So as a matter of fact, there is still time. If you do not want to receive somebody at your home for whatever reason, whether it's because you are worried about COVID, whether you maybe you work a different shift, maybe you just don't like to answer the door. If you go right now and if you fill it out online or on the telephone, then you shouldn't be getting a visit. Right now, what we do know is that COVID-19 is affecting certain communities, the Black community, the Latinx community, the LGBTQ community. These are the same communities that have a historic undercount in the census. Now, as you had mentioned, what the census does is it does give money to local programs like healthcare, programs like food programs, all these programs that right now we really need, that have become lifelines for so many of our communities and our people. These are the programs that are being funded. So if you just take those 10 minutes to fill it out, it's almost like insurance for the next 10 years.
The push is on right now. And so for folks to really be counted and really each state get what they deserve, they really are going to need to do it online or wait for somebody to come knocking on their door to get the information.
Or they can also call. You can also call. The phone number there is 844-330-2020. And I do want to say that there are a couple of things that people should know is one is there is no citizenship question. I know that has been something that a lot of people have been worried about. No citizenship question, and none of the information gathered by the census can be shared by law. It is illegal to share it with any other agency. And the other thing is that this is the first time that you can identify someone that you're living with as a same-sex partner. So this is a way that LGBTQ folks can be counted on the census as well. So these are some great things that can be done when you participate in the census.
Beatrice, you've given us a lot of information here. It's vital that people actually participate. We thank you for your time today.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
And stay right there. We'll be right back.
Yeah, looking pretty outside in our Agua Caliente Casino Cam. A lot of blue skies above, nothing but sunshine today and again tomorrow. But after that, yeah, things are going to change around Southern California. I haven't seen a cloud in a while, and that will begin to appear by midweek. Yesterday, we picked up temps that were just above 110 degrees, 111 yesterday at Palm Springs, and we're going to be close to that number again today. 103 already at Palm Springs, same for 1,000 Palms, 102 at Desert Hot Springs, a sunny 95 at Cabazon, 77 Big Bear, and 29 Palms, almost 100. Clear skies on our satellite imagery. That's the way it's been over the past few days. Clear skies over much of the southwest. Did begin with patchy fog in the Inland Empire. That has already lifted, and we'll see maybe a few areas of stratus tomorrow morning. Nothing on radar. All that monsoonal moisture is going to stay well to the east of us. So like yesterday, 110 to 113. The range of highs for the Coachella Valley under plenty of sunshine. Late in the day, we'll get a breezy onshore flow. Nothing crazy, just strong breezes through the San Gorgonio Pass and basically high desert. The rest of us just doing okay with light wind. As far as the coastal areas, 70-degree numbers along the beaches, and then you get into the 80s, maybe low 90s in the Inland Empire. But for us in the Coachella Valley, at or slightly above 110 today. High desert above 100 degrees and 90s to around 100 for the San Gorgonio Pass. So these are today's highs. Tomorrow, about the same. Little change as we move into Tuesday afternoon. But then Wednesday, we'll get a little bit of that moisture moving in from the south and southeast. That will bring us mid-level moisture translating into clouds around the area. And also that high pressure center a little closer, a little stronger, adding a few degrees to the highs. So Wednesday, 112 to 115, including 112 at Palm Springs, 114 the high, under partly cloudy to mostly cloudy skies at Indio, 106, 29 Palms, and 103 at Cabazon Wednesday afternoon. So today and again tomorrow, dry from top to bottom in the troposphere, but we get that mid-level moisture. So we're going to see clouds. More clouds on Wednesday. It thins out a little bit Thursday, Friday. Partly cloudy skies. Most of the mountains will get some cloud cover. Definitely could even squeeze out maybe a sprinkle or two on Wednesday afternoon. Surface moisture dry today, but even those numbers start to move up. A little more humidity as we move into Friday with dew points at around 50 degrees. Okay, we have Alida, which is our latest named storm. It formed over the weekend. Right now, it is a tropical storm, 70 miles an hour as far as the winds around the center. That's as strong as you can get for a tropical storm. So it'll become a hurricane, possibly later today. Category 1 storm is the strongest it'll get before it moves into cooler waters, moving over the open waters of the Pacific. So here's your Comfort Air 7-day forecast. 111 today, same for tomorrow. Clouds move in on Wednesday, and the temperatures move up a little bit each day. 114 Thursday, then above 115 for the valley as we head into Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Desert Fast is brought to you by Mike Thompson RV. Your adventure starts here.
It's been nearly a century since the Great Depression, and the Dust Bowl forced thousands of Americans from their homes in search of a better life here in California. Many passed through the desert on the newly paved Transcontinental Highway, Route 66. And now one of the once thriving towns along Route 66 is trying to make a comeback. Here's our Gino Lamont.
It was the path the Jode family took as they escaped the hardships of Oklahoma in the 1930s in the Grapes of Wrath.
California, here I come, right back where I started from.
It was also the road the Ricardos and the Mertzes took as they headed west on I Love Lucy.
How do we get off US 66, Buzz?
In fact, it was such a famous highway, Route 66, it even had its own TV show and a hit song.
Get your kicks on Route 66.
And what they all had in common as they finally entered the Golden State, all these travelers ended up going through and often stopping in Amboy.
So Amboy became the vital travel thing to Southern California.
Amboy was first settled in 1858 by miners and eventually became a water stop for the railroad in the 1880s. But it was the opening of Route 66 in 1926 that literally put Amboy on the roadmap of America.
Because California was the Golden State, it was the land of opportunity, and people recognized that. And plus, it was wide open, so it wasn't a mature state. Population very little, so people just come in there for opportunity.
With all those travelers suddenly heading west, someone else found a different type of opportunity. His name was Roy Kroll, a longtime Amboy resident. He saw dollar signs in each passing car. Entering California through the Mojave Desert was a shock to the older vehicles and their passengers, so Roy decided to make Amboy an oasis.
Roy, he ended up really running the town. And he had two daughters. One daughter, Betty, married Buster Barris, and so that's all Buster got involved with the town. Even though Roy was really the founder of the gas station, and if you outside, we have that Roy sign that ends up built in 1950. That's an iconic sign of Route 66.
The only stop for miles around, Roy and Buster and Betty built a small empire in the desert. Gas station, auto repairs, cafe, motel, and cottages. Amboy boomed, and so did competition. Soon, a Texaco opened, and then a Chevron station, and Bender's one-stop gas station and camp, which billed itself as comfort on the desert.
Mainly as the basic comforts of life, which is room, board, food, and gas, and repair for your auto.
The book, The Silence and the Sun by Joe DeKehoe, details the growth of Amboy and includes many of the historic photos in this story. Population of this wide spot in the road climbed to 65 people. And soon there was a need for a post office, a Catholic church, and even Amboy Elementary School. This picture showing the class of 46. Traffic flooded the small town and others like it along Route 66, and that is what led to the demise of Amboy. By 1956, there was so much traffic, Route 66 couldn't handle it. So Interstate 40 was built, siphoning travelers off Route 66. Eventually, in 1985, Route 66 was decommissioned, and suddenly boomtowns like Amboy went bust.
They said overnight, everyone just fled the town, and wherever there were other businesses in town, they all left because the traffic dried up.
But in recent years, something happened. Route 66 is becoming a destination again.
With the social media kicked in, we're getting famous. We're getting more and more people business every year with us doing no advertising.
Visitors, particularly from foreign countries, are detouring off the interstate to experience life the way it was.
Europeans and from other countries know more about this place than we do in California.
Ready for this? Voila!
Manny Lopez manages what's left at Amboy, where the population has dropped to 4. For many tourists, Manny is the man about town.
Everybody just asking questions about the cafe, about this place, about the water, about traffic, our sign. It's just amazing.
This is absolutely amazing. Yeah, but yeah, what would you think? Yeah, how can you better this? This is something like you see on TV, in an old Western maybe, without the neon sign. Or something from the 50s, I Love Lucy.
As for the town's future, historian Albert Okura, who owns the Juan Pollo chicken restaurant chain, bought everything here more than a decade ago for $425,000.
This sign is an iconic sign of the 50s.
but he has big plans.
We're looking over here. This is the motel lobby.
In addition to refurbishing the original Roy sign, Okura plans on remodeling the cottages along with the vintage Jetsons-like lobby where half-century-old plastic keychains and rotary phones are still a way of life. Gas again is being dispensed from the historic pumps, and as soon as he can get a reliable water supply, Okura wants to reopen the original cafe, complete with the old counter stools that have been empty for decades. Though time and vandalism has taken its toll on Amboy, he says there's still a lot of life left in this old town.
I believe it's my destiny, and that's why my goal is to keep Amboy as pure as I can and keep it more as original.
In Your Health Today, feeding your body certain foods may help keep your immune system strong. Now, this week, we're talking about the best foods to prevent colds, flu, and other infections. The first immune system booster is citrus fruits. Most people turn straight to vitamin C after they've caught a cold, and that's because it helps build up your immune system. Vitamin C is key to fighting infections. Almost all citrus fruits are high in vitamin C. With such a variety to choose from, they're easy to squeeze on any food, so just think of it as you're actually squeezing the vitamins onto your food. Popular citrus fruits include grapefruit, oranges, clementines, lemons, limes. Now, because your body doesn't produce or store it, you do need daily vitamin C intake for continued health. The recommended daily dose for most adults, 75 milligrams for women, 90 milligrams for men. If you opt for supplements, avoid taking more than 2,000 milligrams per day. But keep in mind, there is no evidence yet that this is effective against the new coronavirus. And that's what's happening in Your Health Today.
More than 100 people were arrested in Chicago after a night of unrest and looting. Officials say a police-involved shooting led to car caravans driving throughout downtown Chicago, damaging and looting businesses. More than 400 police officers were called in an attempt to control the crowds, and more than a dozen officers suffered injuries. Chicago's police chief responded to the chaos.
I pledge to pursue these offenders to the fullest extent of the law. A heavy police presence will continue throughout the downtown area today and until further notice.
Chicago's Mayor Lori Lightfoot says those responsible for the violence will be held accountable. And in Portland, it's now in its 11th straight week of protesting following the death of George Floyd. Several people were arrested during the protest yesterday, and yesterday's protest followed demonstrations Saturday night when rioters broke into the Portland Police Association's building in North Portland and lit a fire. A massive explosion levels several homes in Baltimore. Firefighters say at least one person was killed and 3 others rescued from the scene were critically hurt. Rescue units are sifting through the debris, searching for other people. The cause of the explosion is still unknown. Anger is boiling over in Beirut nearly a week after that devastating and deadly explosion. Protesters took to the streets throughout the weekend, and now at least 3 key government officials have resigned. NBC's Richard Engel reports from London.
The shockwave that flattened large parts of Beirut nearly a week ago is now pushing people out into the streets. Their demand is clear: revolution. This weekend, thousands of protesters called for a new government in Lebanon and clashed with security forces sent in to disperse them. The demonstrators briefly occupied government buildings until they were pushed out.
We're going to keep on fighting. Even if it takes a lot, we will keep on fighting.
This country was a powder keg even before the downtown port was vaporized into a mushroom cloud. The ammonium nitrate, customs officials say, was negligently stored here despite their repeated complaints, may have been the spark for a wider movement. The sectarian political system that ended civil war here 30 years ago by dividing power among religious groups no longer works.
It's fair to say most of us have never seen anything like this. I lived through part of the Lebanese Civil War, but no, it was certainly not like this.
The economy has collapsed, Lebanese say, because of corruption and a tight grip on power by the Shiite militia group Hezbollah. The people of Beirut have been left with little to live on. Most have no glass in their windows after the blast, no doors. There's no power. Longtime Beirutis say this city may be at a breaking point.
President Trump has suggested that some sort of bomb caused the explosion, and Defense Secretary Esper said that the U.S. still doesn't know the exact cause of the blast. Richard Engel, NBC News, London.
And as we head to break, let's take a live look outside with our Walter Clark Highway 111 camera. Jerry's got your forecast after the break.
Just like over the weekend, a pretty view on our Agua Caliente casino cam, a lot of sunshine overhead, and we're going to see that again tomorrow before things change by midweek. Yesterday, as we look at our Agua Caliente casino cam, 111 yesterday afternoon. That was about the same high we had on Saturday, and we'll stay there through Tuesday with highs just above average 107. Then things change by the end of the week. Numbers go up, humidity goes up, cloud cover goes up, a lot of changes as we move into the next several days. So right now, we're just above 100 degrees in the Coachella Valley, including 100 degrees at 29 Palms, 96 sunshine at Cabazon. So clear skies right now. That's the way it'll stay for tomorrow. Things change on Wednesday, but not much going on over Southern California. All that monsoonal moisture staying well to the east of us as we move into the next few days. Winds, breezy at best. That's about it. Nothing outstanding as far as strong winds are concerned moving in our near future. Just an onshore flow pushing through the rest of the valley by later today. So along the beaches, 70s for highs, 80s, maybe low 90s inland Empire, and then above 110 for the Coachella Valley, just slightly above average, 111s and 112s for the Coachella Valley today. Tuesday, more of the same. After that, the numbers start to move up ever so slightly. Again, monsoonal moisture Wednesday stays to our east over Arizona. We'll get a little extra cloud cover as mid-level and upper-level moisture begins to funnel in from the south. And we'll see the dew points move up too, so it will get a little humid. Wednesday, 112s, 113s, 114s for highs, so a little hotter. And like I said, today and tomorrow, clear skies, dry air from top to bottom, but that changes Wednesday. We're going to see some cloud cover move in on Wednesday afternoon. Surface moisture, that goes up too. Dry today and tomorrow, 30-degree dew points. That moves up to 50-degree dew points by Friday. And as far as the tropics, we have another named storm. It was formed over the weekend, Alita. Basically, latest on Alita, it is as strong as you can get for a tropical storm. After that, if it gains just a little more strength, it'll become a hurricane. We're expecting that to happen a little later on today. It's moving its way to the west-northwest, will remain just a Cat 1 storm before weakening over the cooler waters of the North Pacific by the middle of the week. And then we say goodbye to Alita. So 111 today and tomorrow in our Comfort Air 7-day forecast. Temperatures move up a little bit as we move into the rest of the week. Wednesday, 112 with clouds, partly cloudy skies Thursday, Friday, but you can see we're going to be above 115 with a little humidity Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Well, have you ever heard of C19 certified? You're about to hear a lot about it, thanks to the founders of this grand new program. Let's welcome Adam and Andy. Hey guys, welcome to our program.
Hey, thank you so much for having us.
This to me is a brilliant idea because, of course, the CDC hands down guidelines. Of course, we get our government guidelines from our governors and our mayors and all of our legislators. But you have come up with a great new program for employers. Tell me a little bit about C19 Certified.
Sure, Sandy. Yeah, so what we've done, like you said, there's all kinds of guidance and guidelines going on talking about what companies have to do in order to reopen, and it's different on a low municipality by municipality basis. So really what we did is we came up here with this program to provide a one-size-fits-all training program to make sure that employees understand the risks that coronavirus presents and the best practices to mitigate those risks while they're returning to work.
Exactly. And we also took some of our content and behavioralized questions. And so that way employees know, the best practices to do when they do return to the workplace or if they're currently in the workplace.
Such a great idea. And how did you kind of formulate it? How did you distill it all down and decide which were the most important guidelines?
Sure. Well, how we formulated our course originally was we just wanted to find a way to get everyone back up and working as quickly as possible. And, ultimately we just looked to the CDC and the World Health Organization to figure out, what the best protocols were. And then we looked on both the state and federal level to see what we could satisfy on that end.
Yeah. And then ultimately we were able to team up with leading medical and legal professionals out of Atlanta, Georgia, to really run through what we thought was the most critical information from both a medical perspective as well as a legal risk perspective, to make sure that we really hammered home for these employers and employees what we thought the key points that everybody really needed to make sure they brought home were.
Digital, because of everything that's going on with coronavirus, we wanted to mitigate human contact to contact as much as possible. And so our e-learning course is as simple as getting a link from us that's private. We give that to an employer. They distribute it to their employees, and then their employees can go on, and our course is around 40 minutes. And once they're done, the individual employee will get a certification. And if they're a brick and mortar business, we will give the business a certification that they can hang up and display as well to make their customers feel confident that they've taken the proper steps.
And is this one size fits all? It's for small companies, but also big corporations?
Yeah, so what we're offering is a standard course. That's our typical one size fits all that we think makes sure that everybody has the baseline knowledge that they need to help try to prevent a widespread exposure in their workplace. But we're also working with companies to develop company-specific courses as well, where if you're walking into a specific office in Massachusetts for this one of our particular companies, what do they want you to do before coming into their office? What is exactly their weekly screening protocol? So we do have more customized courses for companies as well as our standard one size fits all as well. We're offering both solutions.
Exactly. And we've done, everything from restaurants to pharmaceutical companies to education networks. And so, with the standard course, we use our basic course and then with the customized course, we use our basic course and then we add on, like Andy said, those company specific policies.
So they say necessity, of course, is the brainchild of invention. You're young guys. What made you decide to come up with this concept?
Yeah.
Sure. Well, similar to, like I said before, we just wanted to figure out a way to get everybody working again and ultimately working safely. And so what we did was kind of just put our heads together and said, what can we do? And when we realized we had the ability to run an online education program, I think we both kind of took that responsibility under our arms and just put our heads down and said, we know that we need to get this out quickly to market if it's going to be successful. And so, we spent about a month and a half developing it. And I'd say by month 3, we had a working product.
Fantastic. Well, wishing you the best of luck, Adam and Andy. Thank you so much for sharing it with our viewers. Again, C19 certified, and we'll have your website on there with a link so that everyone can access it. Thank you so much. A great idea, especially during these times.
Awesome. Thank you for having us.
Andy, stay safe.
Yep. Thanks. You know, now more than ever, we definitely have to keep our homes clean and sanitary. So joining us now is Bo Riles, who's going to tell us how to do that with a revolutionary new product from Thane Direct. And welcome, Bo.
Thank you, Sandy. I appreciate you having me.
Thank you. We're so happy to have you. I have to say, a revolutionary new product, but I know Thane Direct has been around for almost 3 decades. So this is just new and improved, correct?
Yeah, just another wonderful product from Thane Direct that solves a common problem and does what it says it does.
Well, tell us a little bit about it, because I understand it gets rid of 99% of germs and bacteria, which is pretty impressive.
Well, we're taking ordinary tap water and just a little bit of salt, enough salt to fit into this little spoon right here. And what we're doing is we're electrolyzing. This is old technology that hospitals have been using for years to create, you know, a natural cleaning system that uses just the electrolyzation of salt and water together. When you send an electrical current through the salt and the water, which we do in this activator right here for about 10 minutes, push this button right here, 10 minutes later, the electrolyzation process is giving us a cleaner sanitizer and deodorizer that, like you said, kills 99% of certain germs, viruses, and bacteria, but also cleans, sanitizes, and disinfects as well, deodorizes as well.
Wow, that is amazing. I am so impressed. But I have to ask you, of course, before we get into some of the details, safe, I understand, for pets and small children, right?
Yes, absolutely. Even safer than bleach. You know, it's certainly easier on your clothes. You spill bleach on your clothes, you know what happens. You know, but you can smell once again. For the folks, one more time, the activator goes on, you plug it in, you press this button, 10 minutes later, you have this powerful cleaner sanitizer, and then you spray the spray cap on, and you can just spray as you go and clean and sanitize as you go.
That is amazing. So are there any rooms in particular? You know, how do we use the product? I understand there's a mop as well, so it's a whole cleaning system.
There is a cleaning system. You add that mop, and now you'll be able to get all your hard surfaces, like I said, clean, sanitize, and deodorize all of your hard, flat surfaces on the ground. And with the spray nozzle on top, now you can go and spray computer keyboards, the kids' toys, the doorknobs, your steering wheel in your car, certainly all countertops. You'll want to do that, the top of the stove, just by doing a little spray right here. And again, what we're doing is we're using just the power of good old H2O and sodium chloride salt, that electrolyzation process, to create this powerful cleaner sanitizer.
That is so impressive. And when you had me at hospital, when you said that this is what the hospitals use for some of their cleaning purposes, and now we can get this in our own homes, that's pretty impressive.
It is. They've miniaturized the process and done it for anyone to use at home. And we're talking about creating this powerful cleaner sanitizer, deodorizer, Sandy, for fractions and fractions of pennies, because once again, it's just salt, a little bit of salt, and good old H2O. 10 minutes later, you have almost a quart of cleaner sanitizer. And when you run out, you just make more for fractions of pennies.
Wow, that's amazing. So you said normal tap water, normal table salt, 10 minutes. Sounds like it's a deal to me. So how do we get this great product? What is the cost? I know you said fractions of pennies, but what's the actual cost?
The actual cost of the activator is two payments of $29.95. You'll just go to H2OE3.com. That's H2OE3.com. Again, 2 payments of $29.95. But I think today, if we use the coupon code of KMIR-TV, people will receive $5 off. That's the actual your call letters of your TV station there, KMIR-TV-TV, and you get $5 off. So
that sounds like a deal. Something that's safe, something that's effective, and something in these dire times, more than ever, we really need to make sure that we're keeping our home environment sanitary and clean. And I presume there's no odor to it. It's odor-free as well?
Odor-free, for the most part, at the end of the electrolyzation, that's a tough one to say, electrolyzation process, you will smell a smell that almost smells a little bleachy. It's a very clean smell. And that's because once you've sent that current through the salt and the water, you've created 2 powerful oxidants, one that's going to cut through that grease and grime, and the other one once again, it's going to be a bacteria-destroying sanitizer and deodorizer. And once again, this product doesn't just deodorize. It doesn't just cover up odors. It actually neutralizes the odors as well, Sandy.
Wow. Well, you have all the bases covered. I'm so impressed. And thank you for that great opportunity for our viewers to get a special deal. Thank you, Bo. We appreciate it. Stay safe and stay clean.
You stay safe as well. Thank you.